Rajana Rajana Jamuna Tera Vanachare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privaracharya Satasara. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privaracharya Satasara. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem Sah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, Shri Radha Radhanath ki Jai, Shriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So I was given the topic last minute to actually prepare for Nectar of Instruction, text 10. I put something together, but I'm not qualified to speak on it, but anyway, we'll try. So the verse goes as follows. Karmi bhya prita hare priya taya vyaktim yajurkinanis tebhyo jana vimutta bhakti parama premaika nistasata tebhyam tapush pashupala pankaja drisha tabhyo pisa radhika presta Tadvad iham tadiya sirasitam nashrayat kaha kriti. So the translation goes as follows. In the Shastra it is said that of all types of fruitive workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of higher values in life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people, those who are advanced in knowledge, jnanis, and one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge, may take to devotional service, is superior to others. However, one who has attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees, because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is most dear to Krishna. Her Kunda, lake, is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of gopis. Who then will not reside at Radhakund, and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakrita bhav, rendered loving devotional service to the divine couple, Shri Radha Govinda, who performed their Astya Kalya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radhakund are the most fortunate people in the universe. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. At the present moment, almost everyone is engaged in some kind of fruitive activity. Those who are desirous of gaining material profits by working are called karmis, or fruitive workers. Am I reading the right? Those who are desirous of gaining material profits by working are called karmis, or fruitive workers. All living entities within this material world have come under the spell of Maya. This is described in the Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta Kshetra Chankya Tatapara Avidyam Karma Sam Jnana Jnanya Tirtya Shaktir Ishyate. Sages have divided the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead into three categories, namely the spiritual energy, marginal energy, and the material energy is considered to be the third class energy, Tritiya Shakti. Those living beings with the jurisdiction of the material energy sometimes engage themselves like dogs and hogs in working very hard simply for sense gratification. However, in this life or after executing pious activities in the next life, some karmis become strongly attracted to performing various kinds of sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. Thus, on the strength of their pious merit, they are elevated to heavenly planets. Although those who perform sacrifice strictly according to the Vedic injunctions are elevated to the moon planet above the moon, to the moon and planets above the moon, as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Shunya Punya Martya Lokam Vishanti. After executing the results of their so-called pious activities, they again return to earth, which is called Martya Loka, the place of death. Although such persons may be elevated to the heavenly planets by their pious activities, and although they may enjoy life for many thousands of years, they nonetheless must return to this planet when the results of the pious activities are exhausted. This is the position of karmis, including those who are piously and those who act impiously. On this planet we find many businessmen, politicians, and others who are simply interested in material happiness. They attempt to earn money by all means, not considering whether such means are pious or impious. Such people are called karmis, or gross materialists. Among the karmis are the vikarmis, people who act without the guidance of Vedic knowledge. Those who act on the basis of Vedic knowledge perform sacrifices for the satisfaction of Vishnu and to receive benedictions from him. In this way, they are elevated to higher planetary systems. Such karmis are superior to the vikarmis, for they are faithful to the directions of the Vedas and certainly dear to Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, Krishna says, Ye yatamam prapajjante tam sateva bhajamyaham. In whatever way one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. Krishna is so kind that he fulfills the desires of the karmis and jnanis, not to speak of the bhaktas. Although the karmis are sometimes elevated to the higher planetary systems, as long as they remain attached to the fruit of activities, they must accept new material bodies after death. If one acts piously, he can attain the new body among the demigods in a high planetary system, or he may attain some other position in which he can enjoy a higher standard of material happiness. On the other hand, those who are engaged in impious activities are degraded and take birth as animal, trees, and plants. Those who are fruitive actors, who do not care for the Vedic directions, vikarmis, are not appreciated by learned saintly persons, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.4. Nama pramate kurate vikarma ye yad indriya pritaya aprinoti na sadhu manye yata atmanoyam ashan api kleshada ashadeha. Materialists who work hard like dogs, hogs, and hogs simply for sense gratification are actually mad. They simply perform all kinds of abominable activities simply for sense gratification. Materialistic activities are not at all worthy of an intelligent man, for as a result of such activities one gets a material body which is full of misery. The purpose of human life is to get out of the threefold miserable conditions which are concomitant with material existence. Unfortunately, fruitive workers are mad to earn money and acquire temporary material comforts by all means. Therefore, they risk being degraded to lower species of life. Materialistic foolishly make many plans to become happy in this material world. They do not stop to consider that they will live only for a certain number of years, out of which they must spend the major portion of acquiring money for sense gratification. Ultimately, such activities end in death. Materialists do not consider that after giving up the body, they may become embodied as lower animals, plants or trees. Thus, all their activities simply defeat the purpose of life. Not only are they born ignorant, but they act on the platform of ignorance, thinking that they are getting material benefits in the shape of skyscraper buildings, big cars, honorable positions, and so forth, and so on. The materialists do not know that in the next life they will be degraded, and thus all their activities simply serve as prabhava, their defeat. This is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.5. Prabhavas tavad abhodha jata. One should therefore be eager to understand the science of the soul, Atma Tattva, unless one comes to the platform of Atma Tattva, by which one understands the soul and not the body as the self, as oneself. One remains on the platform of ignorance. Out of thousands of and even millions of ignorant people who are simply wasting time, simply gratifying their senses, and one may come to the platform of knowledge and understand high values of life. Such a person is called a jnani. The jnani knows that fruitive activities will bind him to material existence and cause him to transmigrate from one kind of body to another, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by the term sarira bandha, bound to bodily existence. As long as one maintains any conception of material enjoyment, his mind will be absorbed in karma, fruitive activities, and will oblige him to transmigrate from one body to another. Thus, a jnani is considered superior to a karmi because he at least refrains from the blind activities of sense enjoyment. This is the verdict of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, although a jnani may be liberated from the ignorance of karmis unless he comes to the platform of devotional service, he is still considered by the ignorant to be in ignorance, avidya. Although one may be accepted as a jnani or one advanced in knowledge, this knowledge is considered impure because he has no information of devotional service. Okay, this purport is going on and on and on. So I'll just try to say something on this. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchikalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, dear devotees, this purport is quite long, and Prabhupada here is basically trying to impress upon the people of this world that what they are doing is of use. It's useless. It's useless to the self, because people are engrossed in sense gratification, which means that they would work hard like dogs and hogs, camels and asses. This verse is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and in this way they would waste their lives seeking for sense gratification in this material world. But their real purpose in this world is to search out for that Supreme Personality of Godhead who can satisfy all their demands, the demands of the body and the demands of the soul, right? And but they are so immersed in fruitive activities that they don't know anything better. They are born, Prabhupada says here, they are born in ignorance, and they continue to pursue ignorance, right? Instead of thinking for a moment, stopping to think for a moment, why am I here? What is my purpose of life? Where am I heading to after this life? So in this way, the conditioned soul he doesn't stop to think, and he is immersed in avidya, ignorance, right? And then he says, some people will take up to knowledge. They will try to acquire knowledge, but that knowledge is speculative knowledge, but it will give them some benefit, right? Prabhupada calls them transcendentalists because, they will achieve something spiritual, and that is the Brahmajyoti, that, they will go there for some time. It's the effulgence that emanates from Krishna's body, and they will go there for some time. They will stay there, and when their pious activities are exhausted, then they will come back to this material world. So he says, what's the use of that, right? It has no value whatsoever. So he says, for devotees, we should actually pursue that knowledge which is given in the bona fide scriptures, like the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and in that way, when we acquire this knowledge, and then we deepen our faith in Krishna by studying these books. So this knowledge from the Bhakti Shastras will elevate the soul back to the spiritual realm, and it will give you the highest benefit that's ever acquired by any transcendentalist, right? In this Kali Yuga, basically. So, so these Bhakti Shastras, like, we get this story or the pastime of Narad Muni in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where he associated with the Bhaktivedantas, and he took their association, he heard from them, he heard the Vedic scriptures, and he purified himself from the mode of ignorance and passion. He purified his heart, and in this way he was eligible to take up to renunciation. His mother died at an early age. He was only 5 years old. His mother was bitten by a snake, and she passed away, and he was left all alone. So what to do? So he went in search for these great souls, and basically went in search for Krishna, went to the forest to meditate, and in this way acquire the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is what happened, and we see that after he gave up his body, he became Narad Muni, just by associating with the great souls, taking their instructions, hearing from them, hearing the bona fide scriptures, and in this way purifying his life and becoming a transcendental personality, right? So this is so apt for us, that we also have to take to this process. Jai Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. With firm conviction that yes, after, by continuously hearing Srimad Bhagavatam classes and associating with devotees like this, at the end of our lifetimes, something great is awaiting us, the spiritual world. So, so with firm conviction, we should actually take up to this process of hearing, chanting, remembering the 9 processes of devotional service. So, we find that Prabhupada here in this purport, he's describing those people who do not take up to the process of Krishna consciousness. They are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. So he says, what does a dog do? Like a stray dog, it runs around looking for scraps of food from here and there, right? And he says, men are also like that, who they don't inquire about life. And we find many of these people living in the parks, living, on the streets like this. And they go and dig in the bins for food, And this is so sad, because they don't know anything better than that. And you'll say, well, it's due to poverty and, what have you. But, if only they could focus their energy on thinking about the Supreme Lord and praying to God for, taking some type of God realization or taking some type of worship, it will lead them to some to a greater platform actually. So, but these people, like, they don't have any interest in anything. They have, the world has basically crumbled. They may have had some incidents in their lives, where they left their families and, have taken to living in the streets and parks and places like this. So, and then Prabhupada, in the Bhagavatam, he actually explains that there's another class of men who are like hogs, right? And they eat anything and everything under the sun. And, anything that flies, anything that walks, anything that crawls. Right? And we know people like this, that do stuff like this, right? And he says, and a hog is similar, like it will go and it'll look for food in the filthiest of places, right? It will wallow in the dirt, in the mud, and it will look for stool, basically. And it finds that the stool is so delicious, it's so tasty. Like once, Indra, he was cursed to come down to earth and take his birth as a hog. And he came here as a hog, and he had his hog family, female hog, and his piglets, and he was enjoying his life, right? Because there was nothing else. He was just taking care of them, and he was simply enjoying life with his little piglets and his wife, and he was carrying on for himself. And then Narad Muni, I think, went to him and said, "What are you doing? You're the king of heaven, and look at you. Come on, let's go back." And he says, "No. I have my family here. I have my my wife and my children, and I cannot leave them and go. What's going to happen to them? We are enjoying our lives here. We are eating stool and we are wallowing in the mud and life is great. I don't want to go back. And Narad Muni says, no, you're the king of heaven and you need to go back to your position so that, you'll be reinstated as a king. We're missing the king. So in this way he didn't want to go because he thought that, life revolved around his family, around his children and his wife. So this is what materialists are doing. Their whole lives revolve around their families, right? Their kids, their spouses, their extended families, their neighbors, like this. So this is what materialists do, right? But they have no knowledge of their superior nature, which is to enjoy with Krishna in the spiritual world. They have no knowledge of that, right? So, and firstly, they are on the bodily platform and they think that I am this body and I need to enjoy. They have no idea that they are spirit souls, part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, and that they must actually render devotional service and go back to the spiritual world. They have no idea. But they think that, they have their small world, that me, myself and I, my wife, my children, my this, my that. They put their energy in all material things, assets, right? Their house, their furniture, their cars, this, that, So this is the mentality of the materialists. They think nothing beyond that. And this is so sad. Therefore, as devotees, we have a great duty to perform, right? And that is to go out there and give out the holy names, give out this message of Krishna consciousness, distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, and make people aware of this, of the Krishna consciousness movement, so that they also can come and associate with devotees, take association of scripture, chant the holy names, and go back home, back to Godhead. Right? A little endeavor on this path, that will give you the greatest results. This is what Krishna says. If someone has taken up to Krishna consciousness, or someone is just like, the Harinam party is going on and someone just hears the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or just dances, do a little jig, to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Great benefit. His spiritual life has already begun. Right? And we find this when we are on Harinam. People will shake their legs, they will do some sort of dance, right? Some of them so funny as well, right? In order to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But just that little endeavor can save them from the greatest danger. In that, just by them doing that little dance, or just taking the holy names, or just hearing the holy names, their spiritual life has already begun, because Krishna is a super soul in everyone's heart. And he recognizes, hey, this person has listened to the holy names, and he may think favorably. And he gets so much of benefit from that. So, so I was just talking about, the hog example. So, like that, dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. So the camel, it eats thorny twigs, and the blood, the thorns cut its gums, and the gums. The blood oozes from the gums, and the blood mixes with the saliva, and the camel thinks this is very tasty, very delicious. So in this way, it enjoys its own blood, right? In the form of, basically just by eating these thorny twigs. So, Prabhupada describes that the materialists are similar. They work so hard day and night, and they spend, it takes lot of blood to work, like, very hard to actually satisfy or to earn some money to satisfy your wife and children, right? And they work so hard, and at night they engage in sense gratification. And he says just this act of illicit activities will actually drain so much of your energy, So in this way, when the energy is drained, then it's compared to the camel that's enjoying its own blood. So this is the camel example. And the ass, Prabhupada describes that it works very hard. Right? It carries loads and loads for the washerman. And with just, a carrot dangling in the front, and it runs towards it, goes and he says, when am I going to get this carrot? Okay, next step. And, it's going towards this carrot. Or maybe the grass, just for a morsel of grass. He works so hard, whole day, for the washerman. And the washerman, what's his payment? Is a morsel of grass. When grass is growing all around, right? So therefore they say that the donkeys are stupid, right? Because they're stupid in that the grass is growing everywhere. You can just go there and eat and be satisfied. But no, you will work hard like a washerman, for the washerman, in order to get a morsel of grass. So similarly, Prabhupada states, these are very heavy statements that Prabhupada is making. And he says that you will work hard day and night to bring, to gain some money, to earn some money, to bring food to the family. And how much will you eat? Just 2 chapatis? So what's the sense of you working so hard day and night? Right? Just for a little amount, just to satisfy your family and for you. He says, this is like, it makes no sense. So he states that, we should actually take up to the process of Krishna consciousness. Well, all of us cannot live in the temple, like me. But we can use our hard-earned money in the service of Krishna to propagate Krishna consciousness, right? In this way, we can make spiritual advancement. So, so we have so in this way, devotees can actually make spiritual, at least they're inquiring into spiritual topics, giving their lives to Krishna by even working and giving their hard-earned money to Krishna in this way. Giving your money to Krishna means you're giving your karma, your sins to Krishna. So and only Krishna is able to absorb all these sins. Right? It says as a spiritual master also at initiation when he takes your karma and then he gives your karma to Krishna like this. So he's passing this karma on to Krishna. So in this way you become free from your sins and you make spiritual advancement, right? So so we gave the examples that Prabhupada gives in the Srimad Bhagavatam: dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. And in this purport, he's very nicely demonstrating how these people who are in total ignorance, basically, they cannot take up to spiritual life, and they are wasting their lives, basically. Shama eva hi kevalam, right? You simply waste your life. So we'll just read towards the end of the purport. There's a nice verse here from Bhagavatam 5:5-4. Nunam pramata kurite vikrama yad indriya pritaya pratnoti na sadhu manye yata atmano yam asan api kleshada asadeha. Materialists who work hard like dogs and hogs simply for sense gratification are actually mad. They simply perform all kinds of abominable activities simply for sense gratification. So materialistic activities are not at all worthy of an intelligent man, for as a result of such activities, one gets a material body which is full of miseries. The purpose of human life is to get out of the threefold miserable conditions which are concomitant with material existence. Unfortunately, fruitive workers are mad to earn money and acquire temporary material comforts by all means. Therefore, they risk being degraded to lower animal species. Materialists foolishly make many plans to become happy in this material world. So, yes, so I was just thinking that, Prabhupada is saying here that they are degraded to lower species. So if one acts as a dog or hog or camel or an ass, what do you think his next life is going to be? Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajiti antikalevaram tam tamevati kunteya sadatad bhava bhavitaha. That whatever you think of at the time of death, you will attain to that state without fail. So if you act like a dog and you act like a hog and a camel and an ass, then you know what your next destination is going to be, right? So in this way, Prabhupada says that they degrade themselves to lower animal species of life. And, then they'll have to come up the evolutionary scale again, back to the human platform. And if this human platform is the only platform that you can inquire into spiritual life, right? And if you abuse this human form of life and you don't inquire into spiritual life, then you are degrading yourself again and going back to the animal species of life. So in this way, you go up and down the revolutionary scale. Brahmanda Brahmitikon Bhagavan Jeev Guru Prasad Guru, how it goes? Guru Krishna Prasad Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. That we are going around in this evolutionary cycle from the higher planets to the middle to the lower, like this. We're going up and down, around and around, like a merry-go-round. We go up, we go around and around. So in this material world, we are going like this, around and around, right? And there's no hope. We are stuck over here for millions and millions and trillions of years in this material world. So only by the mercy of Guru, if somehow or the other we get connected with Guru, then he can extricate us out of this material world and situate us on the spiritual platform. So just by giving out this knowledge to people out there, you're giving them Prabhupada. Imagine. Prabhupada's books is not different from him. And you're giving them Prabhupada, you're giving them Guru. Take Guru, But people will say, no. They shy away. They don't want the books. They don't want to hear anything about Krishna consciousness also. So we get many, when you go on book distributions, you get many people who react differently, right? And in this way, they are saying, no, I'm enjoying my life here. I don't need Krishna. I don't need God. I'm fine in this material world. Right? But they're actually suffering and they cannot see their suffering. Right? Birth, death, disease, and old age. These are all suffering conditions. You take your birth, right? In the womb of the mother, it says that it's so hot in there, and also you are packed up tight. You cannot move your arms or anything, and so what is the, it's a suffering condition. Birth, death is a suffering condition. It states in the Bhagavatam that at the time of death, it's like 1,000 scorpions are stinging you at once. That's the pain of death, right? But for a devotee, For a devotee, it's just like a lightning flash. Narad Muni says this. When he gave up his body, it was like a flash, like you're just from one body to the next. So for a devotee, it's different. But for those materialists, because also they are so attached to this world, they are so attached to the body, to their families, and like this, that it's very difficult for them to leave the body. Right? They still want to hold on. They still want to hold on, and therefore it's like it's very painful for them to leave. Right? And you will find that sometimes people are so sick and they don't want to leave. Right? They don't want to die, and they will still want to hold on. And then you get in the Hindu tradition, it's called Godan. They do like a prayer, right? And after a few weeks, the person leaves their body. So because the person is so sinful that they don't want to leave their bodies, right? They're so attached to this material world that Godan is like you give charity to the cow. So just by holding onto the cow's tail, it can take you across the Viraj river, which is very contaminated, right? So in this way, people they want to hold on to everything in this world, and Prabhupada, the Srimad Bhagavatam describe it's like 1,000 and thousands of scorpions stinging you at once, and you're leaving this body, right? And so you are so engrossed in this bodily comforts of this material world that you're going to come back here anyway, as a dog, hog, camel, or ass, or scorpion, or whatever, like an envious creature, a snake, a scorpion. All these are envious creatures. So what's the use of that life, So we should, however, try to get out of this avidya, the ignorance of this material world that we are so much steeped into, right? And Prabhupada says here, unless he comes to the platform of devotional service, he is still considered to be in ignorance, avidya, although one may be accepted as a jnani or one advanced in knowledge. His knowledge is considered impure because he has no information of devotional service and thus neglects the direct worship of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When a jnani takes to devotional service, he rapidly becomes superior to an ordinary jnani. Such an advanced person is described as Jivan Mukta Bhakti Parama, or a jnani takes to devotional service is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, wherein Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavamam Prabhajante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many, many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Actually, a person is wise when he surrenders unto the lotus feet of Krishna. But such a Mahatma, a great soul, is very rare. So here Prabhupada is saying that, that a person who surrenders unto Krishna is a great soul. He is great because those who are not surrendering to the Supreme Lord, they are still immersed in this material tabernacle of this material world. After taking to devotional service under the regulative principles, a person may come to the platform of spontaneous love of God, following in the footsteps of the great devotees like Narada and Sonaka and Sanatana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then recognizes him to be superior. The devotees who have developed love of Godhead are certainly in an exalted position. Of all these devotees, the gopis are recognized as superior because they do not know anything other than satisfying Krishna, nor do the gopis expect any return from Krishna. Indeed, sometimes Krishna puts them into extreme suffering by separating himself from them. Nonetheless, they cannot forget Krishna. When Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura, the gopis became most dejected and spent the rest of their lives simply crying in separation from Krishna. This means that in one sense, they were never actually separated from Krishna. There is no difference between thinking of Krishna and associating with him. Rather, Vipralamba Seva, thinking of Krishna in separation, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, is far better than serving Krishna directly. So we see His Holiness Indradyumna Swami gave a class, and he was talking about this principle of separation from the gopis. Although I'm basically not qualified to speak on that subject matter, but just for my own purification and for your purification, I will say something on this. He says that the separation, or this separation that the gopis feel, is not at all material. It's on a transcendental level. And he says that sometimes the gopis, like Radharani, is with Krishna and she feels separation from him. So we know that pastime when Krishna was and Radharani were in Prem Sarovar, and Krishna was sitting next to Radharani and she was feeling separation. When Madhu Mangal said, Madhu has gone, the bee was hovering around her, and and another name for Krishna is Madhusudan as well. And Madhu Mangal comes in and says, Madhusudan has gone, and Krishna, Radharani feels separation from from Krishna, although Krishna is sitting right next to her. So then Srila Gurudev, he says that there are 4 types of separation one feels like this, and he says it's called Purva Rag. So there's 4 types, and the first one is called Man. Man is that Krishna is with you, but you know that in the future he's not going to be there. Like when Krishna went to Mathura, right? He was with the gopis, and they could feel that at some point he won't be around. And when he went to Mathura, then they could feel that separation. The next one he says is called Pravas. Krishna is actually gone, right? Krishna goes to Mathura, and at that point now, you feel that, Krishna is not there. He is not there, right? He's there and he's not there in one sense, but the gopis feel that, he's not there at the moment. So this is called Pravasa. And then there's another one. Krishna is there, but you feel separation from him. And that is called, like what we were discussing with Radharani just now, it's called Prema Vichitya. Prema Vichitya is Krishna is right there and you feel separation from him. Like how when Madhu Mangal said Madhusudan has left, is gone, and then Radharani says, what? She couldn't believe it, that Krishna has left her and he's gone. So in that way, although he's right there, and she's feeling separation. So once Lord Ram said to Sita that my devotees, they have 2 types of love for me, one in union and one in separation. But he says this one in separation is sweeter, because when you're with Krishna and you have that intense love for Krishna when he's with you, it's sweet, right? But when he goes away and you feel that separation, then it's sweeter. How is this so? He says that when you're with Krishna, there's only one Krishna, right? But when he goes away, then your mind is absorbed in Krishna, in the pastimes of Krishna. And it is stated that the separation, it fills the 3 worlds, right? With the pastimes of Krishna, and then they think about this pastime and that pastime. Oh, how I was with Krishna in the river Yamuna, how I was with Krishna at Radhakund, how, so all these pastimes are basically enveloping their mind, and they are so immersed in the thoughts of Krishna. So Gurudev says that there's three personalities that we know of that who had this type of separation from the Lord, who felt the separation, and that was Madhavendra Puri when he was in the when he was about to leave his body, and he was feeling the separation from the Lord, and his disciple Ramachandra Khan, he was chastising his spiritual master. Oh, why are you crying like this, like for Krishna? Why are you crying like this? But another disciple, Ishvarapuri, the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, he could understand the mind of his spiritual master, and so in this way so Madhavendra Puri is one of them who've actually felt this type of separation. He says the next personality is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radharani. So there's three, right? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radharani. So my time is up. If you'd like to contribute to this class, you're very welcome to do so. 5 minutes. Anyone? Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Nice to hear from you. Okay, let me go back to my notes. Right? I'll tell you. So Pravas is, Man is when Krishna, you know that Krishna is with you, but in the future he will leave. Right? Man 1. Pravas, Krishna is actually gone, like when he went to Mathura. Prema Vechitya. The first one is Purvarag. Before you meet Krishna, you anticipate separation. Yeah, Purvarag. I didn't mention it, but I didn't explain it. Right? Before you meet Krishna, you anticipate separation. That's called Purvarag. Thank you for bringing that out. So, yeah. So there's 4 types of separation. Yes, Ganga Mata.
Hare Krishna. When I'm on book distribution, I meet a lot of people who are, as you described, they're just not interested in hearing, they're not interested in Prabhupada's books, and they're so much engrossed in just trying to get money and trying to sustain the family, and they don't realize that they're just becoming more entangled. They don't realize that they're causing their own suffering and that they're just wasting their time. And I was thinking, how do we give access? Because they don't want to hear, they don't even want prasadam. What can we do to give access? But as you were speaking, I was thinking, even if they just see the devotees, even if they just hear the holy name, even if they don't want to, still they're seeing the devotees. And they're even if they just see Prabhupada's books, is a tiny increment of advancement, at least that's something. But I'm kind of trying to understand that on the one hand, the 9th offense is not to preach to someone who's faithless, but on the other hand, there's that verse in the Bhagavad Gita that says that the devotee of the Lord is more merciful than the Lord himself because he understands the purpose of the Lord. So I'm just trying to understand these aspects.
Yes, when we go out, we give this knowledge to everyone and anyone, right? And this is Prabhupada's mercy, actually. This is Prabhupada's mercy. Although this injunction is there, or this rule is there, that don't preach to the faithless, but we go out and we preach. We don't know who's faithless, and we don't know, who's having animosity towards us, but we approach them, right? And until and unless they react, then we know, okay, this person is, antagonistic, or he doesn't want to accept the philosophy like this. So, but we go out there and do it, because this is Prabhupada's mercy to take this holy names and to take this book distribution to every town and village and to everyone who meet. Mahaprabhu said, that whoever we meet, we should give this knowledge to. There is so much so that Lord Nityananda, he would go and knock at someone's door. And when the person would open and, they would don't want the Krishna consciousness, he would go and he would roll on the ground, and he would, until and unless they chant Hare Krishna, he won't stop rolling on the ground and destroying the furniture or whatever, putting everything down. So this is how important these holy names are, to give it to everyone, right? So we're not on the level of Lord Nityananda, but we can pray to Lord Nityananda to please help us in our book distribution. So yeah, thank you very much for that, for bringing that out.
Thank you, Ranga, for the nice class.
Yeah, so we need to give this out to everyone and anyone. And Prabhupada will take care of the rest. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will take care of the rest. Yes, when we go out on books, we find, but we should try to search our intelligence how to actually give this knowledge to someone. And if you try hard enough, they will take it. So there was somebody on, I hope I can remember the story quickly. There was one devotee approached someone and they didn't want to take the book, they motioned with body language and everything. No, I don't want to have anything. But the devotee persisted, and he opened the book and he showed the pictures and he explained the pictures to this person, and then the person was attracted and he says, "Yes, I want this book," and in this way, he took the book. So we should try to search our brain some way or the other to actually give out this knowledge. So, Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu, let's hear from you.
I was just thinking of the point that you're making about, going to Brahman. People do fall down, but people can go from Brahman back to the spiritual world also.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there in the 4th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Also,
you want to enlighten us on that? Or give an example?
Well, Prabhupada doesn't give any examples of that, but he says 99.9% of the people fall down. So there's a percentage that goes up.
1%.
So so it's said like that. And also for preaching, you have to be intelligent enough also to figure out whether you should continue your preaching or pursuing, to explain Krishna consciousness. It's important to know that also. It's not that you could force people. I saw devotees force people also. That may also not be very good.
Yeah.
Like preaching to a faithless person, there's one incident where one devotee was, in Prabhupada's time, was kind of, Prabhupada was talking about the holy name, and the person was preaching to the non-devotee about the holy name, and Prabhupada stopped him. So I think it requires a lot of intelligence. Preaching. So when you go out there, you have to be prepared. Vaisheshika Prabhu said you must always leave a good impression. That's your preaching also. They may not take the book, they may not take, but leave a good impression.
Yes.
And there's many sides, many devotees. I saw devotees actually force people. And it is not good. That's my take on it.
Yes. No, we shouldn't force anyone, but we should try to present to the best of our ability. If they don't want, then don't want. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But at least, they saw a devotee, they may touch the book, or they...
So they make advancement.
They're still making increments of advancement. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Grantraj, Shri, what we did? Nectar of Instruction ki jai. Upadesh Amrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.